here, and welcome to my June wrap-up. Before we get started, as always, I'd like to give a star rating system disclaimer. I tend to be a little harsher with my ratings, so I want to give some context on what my ratings mean. 1 star means did not like it, 2 stars means it was okay, 3 stars means I liked it, 4 stars means I really liked it, 5 stars means it was amazing. Before we dive into the books, let's look at some statistics. I read 6 books and DNF'd 2, with a total of 2,299 pages read. My average rating was 2.9 stars. For genre, sci-fi and romance tied for first, and I read the most ebooks this month. Now let's move on to the books. The Backyard Bird Chronicles by Amy Tan, a gorgeous, witty account of birding, nature, and the beauty around us that hides in plain sight. Tracking the natural beauty that surrounds us, The Backyard Bird Chronicles maps the passage of time through daily entries, thoughtful questions, and beautiful original sketches. With boundless charm and wit, author Amy Tan charts her foray into birding and the natural wonders of the world. I had an okay time with this one, but I do like more science-y thoughts in my nonfiction nature books. As an intro to nature books, I think this would be a really great pick, but this was more a stream of consciousness than anything else. I gave this a 2.5 stars. Bite Me, You Know You Like It by Faye Quinn. Blair. I'd been waiting my life to run. When I uncovered hidden papers detailing my inheritance, I knew my time had come. I packed my trunk full of plant babies, black nail polish, and determination. With my demons in the rearview mirror and my trauma for company, I made my way to Elmwood. The remote Maine mountain town is home to my future, a potential love interest, and a lot of really weird, possibly deadly secrets. Richard. Until recently, the most interesting thing in my life had been solving a particularly difficult Sunday crossword. Even my vampiric transition hadn't disrupted my life much. It was still boring and repetitive, albeit with more blood than I'd previously dealt with. When newcomer Blair, a charming 5-foot vegan ball of rage, blows into town, it's all I can do not to follow him like a lovesick puppy. He's everything I've been missing, but there's a catch. I need to spy on him and convince the council he's innocent of his mother's crimes. Here's hoping I don't end up with a corpse instead of a boyfriend. This had me so hooked. I blew through this book, even with the 600-page count, and loved the main 2 characters. But especially I loved the overall story. What a fun twist ending! I do wish there was more spice with the page number and how their relationship progressed so well, but the scenes that were there were done well. Definitely going to continue in the series. And I gave this a 4.5 star. Leviathan Song by Elsie Winters. Alara is well versed in creating beautiful things with the potential for great destruction. And the moment she meets Levi, she knows that's exactly what he is. Charmed and irritated by the seductive siren, Alara is drawn to him, but though his siren song pulls her in, his words push her away. As a landlocked half-merman rejected by his people, Levi is used to wanting things he can never have, and the soft-hearted and strong-willed Alara just hit the top of that list. She's tempting, and that's dangerous for him. He should stay away. But when an underwater city's distant war comes to Alara's doorstep, she's suddenly in over her head, and Levi can no longer bear to keep his distance. Can she trust the mercurial siren that calls to her with more than his voice? I hated this. If it wasn't for a buddy read, I would not have finished this. It was written so poorly. There were so many plot lines that just happened to show up, just to bring the main 2 characters like one thing, and then the plot line disappeared. You can definitely tell this is a straight white woman writing this. It was just that the half sex scenes that popped up, and especially with the no prep for Alara, the it's gonna hurt type straight idiocy, and then fade to black. If I could erase this from my memory, I'd do so in a heartbeat. But at least I read it with friends, and we had a good laugh and rant throughout. I gave this a 1 star. Home, Habitat, Range, Niche, Territory. This was originally given free to readers who pre-ordered Network Effect, the 5th in the series, and this happens just before the 4th novella, Exit Strategy. I love the series, but this just felt like a forgotten / didn't fit anywhere scene from the books. It didn't really add or subtract to the story, and I don't think it's really necessary to read if you love the series. And I did not rate this. Kyre by Aaron Hawk. 25-year-old Luca Elliott lives in a city divided. The humans and the supernaturals mostly keep to their own, but Luca, curious and desperate for work, crosses the border and finds himself employed by a tall, stupidly handsome fae with killer horns. He should be intimidated, but instead Luca is utterly captivated. Falling for the boss is a bad idea though, right? Kyre Harik is only a visitor to the human world, and between his position in the Fae Kingdom and a bargain he made years ago, he can never remain. He's content with that until he meets Luca, his soulmate, and hires him to work in his high-end lounge. Kyre tries to guard his heart, but fate has other plans, and despite his best intentions, he falls for the pretty little human hard. Overall, I like the setup of the story, but there were too many odd plot things that 100% didn't make sense, and I felt the relationship didn't build up as much as I wanted to. It is soulmates, but there was a month of not really interacting with each other, and then all of a sudden the connection is there without the work, which I get. Fated mates type stuff is insta-love a lot, but the little they initially interacted and how the story was progressing outside of their relationship, it feels like there should have been more build up to the connection. Still a fun read. The spicy scenes were sparse but really well done. I gave this a 2.5 stars. Migrations by Charlotte McConaughey. Franny Stone has always been the kind of woman who is able to love but unable to stay. Leaving behind everything but her research gear, she arrives in Greenland with a singular purpose: to follow the last Arctic terns in the world on what might be their final migration to Antarctica. Franny talks her way onto a fishing boat, and she and the crew set sail, traveling even further from shore in safety. But as Franny's history begins to unspool, a passionate love affair, an absent family, a devastating crime, it becomes clear that she is chasing more than just the bird. When Franny's dark secrets catch up with her, how much is she willing to risk for one more chance at redemption? I was so close to DNFing this countless times. It was a solid 2-star for most of it. The main character was unlikable, not usually a fan of this. She was constantly being annoying in all the timelines that we got to see, and I really just wanted her to get some therapy. The world was interesting enough, but it really was just a character study of a person who had bad thing after bad thing happen to her, and I was getting sick of it. Until about the last part of the book. That really brought it around for me and had everything previous click into place. Maybe it was just the headspace I was in, maybe it was just a slow burn, but I'm glad I didn't DNF this and kept going. It was heartbreaking and it was beautiful, and it surprised me at how well it turned around for me. I gave this a 4-star. Other than the 6 books that I finished in June, I DNF'd 2, Walking in the Woods, and I Accidentally Summoned a Demon Boyfriend. And that wraps up my June reading. Halfway through the year, I am a little behind on my 100-book reading goal, since I'm not counting DNFs this year. So hopefully in the next couple months, I can read a little bit more to catch up, maybe find some shorter books to fill in those gaps. As always, this is Quinn, signing out.